Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Our next continuous voters registration is on. Use the opportunity to register to vote. On the news this morning, Wike's faction of PDP fixes national convention for March 28 and 29. Ex-Buhari chief of staff says former president's cabal knows its limit. Stakeholders deliberate on whether President Tinubu will intervene again in River State's political crisis. On the foreign scene, Bill and Hillary Clinton to testify in congressional Epstein probe. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili with the news. Now, the PDP faction led by Abdulrahman Mohammed has set its national convention for March 28 and 29, 2026 in Abuja. The decision was made at the party's 105th National Executive Committee meeting on Monday, chaired by Mohammed, with Senator Samuel Ayawa as secretary. The NEC reaffirmed the Abdulrahman Mohammed-led National Caretaker Committee as the party's only lawful national leadership, stating that it will continue to function as the National Working Committee until a new leadership is elected. The party also approved the timetable for its congresses nationwide, ward and local government congresses in February 2026, and state congresses in March 2026. The NEC directed the Caretaker Committee to issue guidelines for the congresses in line with the PDP constitution, INEC rules and court orders. It welcomed a recent Federal High Court judgment in Ibadan and urged party members to respect all judicial decisions. The NEC also ordered the immediate setup of convention committees, extended the tenure of state and zonal caretaker committees, and called on members to remain united as the party prepares for the convention. Well, in the meantime, the PDP says it is taking steps to end its internal crisis ahead of the National Convention. The decision was made at the party's 85th Board of Trustees meeting in Abuja. BOT Chairman Senator Mao Ohabunwa urged leaders to put the party's interests above personal ambition. National Caretaker Committee Chairman Abdulrahman Mohammed thanked the BOT and party members for their support and said the committee is ready to reposition the PDP. Both leaders are confident that reconciliation effort and upcoming congresses will restore stability and strengthen the party. Meanwhile, the FCT minister Nyesom Wike says he is closely monitoring developments in the Oyo State PDP because he wants the party to survive and succeed. Speaking on Monday at the 105th PDP National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja, Wike says his concern goes beyond one state and covers the stability of the party nationwide. He addressed the PDP's internal crisis, legal battles, and the need to reposition the party ahead of future elections. Wike dismissed claims of intimidation within the party and warned against attempts by what he called vampires to hijack the PDP structure across the country. Still talking politics, former APC national chairman and ex-Edo State governor John Odigi Onyegu is heading a 15-member committee to draft a manifesto of the African Democratic Congress. ADC national chairman Senator David Mark asked the committee to produce policies that address poverty and tackle economic, security, and health challenges, which he blames on the APC-led government. He says the manifesto should win the support of Nigerians. The opposition coalition adopted the ADC as its platform on July 2nd, 2025 to contest the 2027 elections, accusing the APC government of weakening democratic institutions. Moving on now, former chief of staff to ex-president Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, says many Nigerians who benefit most from the country's resources are often not committed to its development. Speaking on Channels Television on Monday, Gambari says such people seek power but are unwilling to make sacrifices for ordinary citizens. He says his 3 years as Buhari's chief of staff gave him a deeper understanding of Nigeria's political realities. Gambari also says Buhari appointed him because of his loyalty to people who had contributed to his personal growth. He adds that while every president has a cabal, the one under Buhari knew its limits. And at the home front, questions are mounting over whether President Bola Tinubu will step in again to resolve the political crisis in River State amid suggestions that the prolonged standoff could work in his political favor. Public affairs analyst Obinwa Kanwa says the president is taking a cautious approach to avoid actions that might weaken the political relevance of both the minister of the FCT and River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Akanwa made this comment in an interview with our correspondent Yobiruwade while addressing questions on whether peace talks are still ongoing between the warring factions despite the impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara.
My thinking is that President Tinubu is playing a chess game in this Rivers issue. If you look at how he had played his games over this time, all are geared towards protecting his personal interest. He is being quite cautious in his dealings with these parties so that he wouldn't jeopardize his chance of sailing through in the state. The delay in according the governor that reception, like the other governors across the other states had been accorded, is deliberate.
He adds that the political crisis in the state is far from over, noting that both sides have yet to reach a new compromise.
The crisis between the governor and the House of Assembly members in the state is far from being over. To me, it's still a ding-dong game because none of them is giving up, especially on the side of the FCT minister. He's intensifying efforts with the assemblymen to ensure that the governor is ultimately pushed out. You cannot just push out a sitting governor without recourse to constitutional guidelines. I don't think it's going to be an easy game.
Meanwhile, human rights lawyer Chetam Wala believes President Tinubu may not intervene quickly, suggesting that he is the main beneficiary of the ongoing disagreement between the River State governor and the FCT minister.
The crisis in River State, I don't see it is far from over. It is actually far from over. But unfortunately, like I said, and I keep saying, the greatest beneficiary of the instability within River State is the president. The president is the greatest beneficiary for it. Because the president has continued to enjoy the benevolence of both the governor and the minister, who are the true architects of the crisis we have right now in the state. He's enjoying their support. For him, everything can go wrong in River State so far as his 2027 ambition within the state is secure. And that's exactly what is playing out in the state.
Wala also urges the River State government to take decisive steps to prevent any form of political violence. His comments came in response to a statement made by the FCT minister in which he threatened to use state-owned facilities by force if denied government approval.
And it is really bad for our democracy. It is bad for us as a people. Unfortunately, we all here in this state, when the FCT minister signed the executive order stopping opposition political party on campaigning and using government facilities for campaigning, we saw all that happen in this state. And now today he's no longer governor. He is now inciting violence by making such an unguarded statement. The government of River State too should stop being docile. They're starting drastic steps against statements of this magnitude to quell violence and to quell future civil disobedience within this particular state.
Well, in the meantime, residents of River State are reacting with mixed opinions to comments made by the FCT minister in Somike during the Wakirike Ethnic Nationalities Grand Civic Reception in Ogu on Saturday. At the event, Wike declared himself in charge of the state amid the ongoing political crisis. Speaking in an interview with our correspondent, some residents insist that Governor Siminalayi Fubara remains the legitimate authority in River State, while others express support for Wike's claims.
A wrong idea. One person cannot own a state. One person cannot say we individuals we are in structure. Is he using Trump to control us to dance into? Because of sin, yes, we have a problem with some people, some political members. At the end of the day, he now brings sin. Things start messing up along the line because they have given him the power. It's not good now. For me, Sim is not a leader in River State. It's yes, so we can carry on in people along because nobody they perfect for life.
That's going on in charge of the state. Not Wike. Always go governor, not Wike.
Yes, so he's in charge of River State. He has power and the scene is not doing well. The power still on him. For me, I don't know for another person.
Well, let's go on a quick break. When we return, Ikwere Local Government Chairman reaffirms commitment to improving education and strengthening safety in schools. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Now, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria for the Northern State and Federal Capital Territory, John Joseph Hayab, is expressing dissatisfaction with the government's approach to addressing religious attacks in northern Nigeria. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire on Monday, Joseph Hayab says the persistent insecurity in the region is worsening because, according to him, the government appears to be shielding those responsible for the attacks. He warns the failure by the federal government to take firm and decisive action could lead to further escalation of violence. Joseph Hayab is calling on the government to intensify effort in collaboration with security agencies to bring an end to the killings and restore peace across the country.
It is sad that government have not done well in their effort in tackling the problem. It seems that some people are untouchable or government is afraid to expose those she knows. We must not continue to cover sponsors of terror. We must not continue to cover sponsors of evil. We should expose them. The reason why these terrorists are tormenting Nigeria, destroying the economy, destroying the peace and unity, is because someone is not man enough to openly call a thief a thief. Look at the lives we are losing every time. So I think government must stop and act firmly.
Still talking about security, the rising cases of one-chance criminal activities in River State have become a major cause of concern for residents and commuters. Speaking on the development, security analyst Dr. Ifechukwu is calling for enhanced community vigilance. He says criminals often hide in neighborhoods and target unsuspecting people. Speaking to our correspondent Emekotoka, he notes that without strong community cooperation, it is difficult to stop kidnappers from finding safe hiding spots for their victims. He adds that security agencies alone cannot tackle the problem.
For me, I would think that at the community level, because many victims have recounted how they emerged from different locations around the HA axis. So for me, not just the HA axis now, but all around the state, community leadership must enhance community vigilance. The local leadership, the youth groups, the vigilante groups that they have must pay attention to the quality of people that they have in these communities. People who are visitors, vehicles that get into the communities, supposedly secluded places, uncompleted buildings, they should pay attention. They should ensure that everybody is properly profiled within such a space.
Dr. Wanogo urges the River State government to run awareness campaigns to teach citizens safe commuting practices, especially when boarding vehicles outside official motor parks. It also stresses the need for proper vehicle registration and identification.
The state would also have to ensure they partner with other stakeholders for proper sensitization of the populace and citizenry via radio jingles, via TV, adverts and commercials, newspapers, and what have you. Social media is also a very good place to use so that people are circumspect before boarding any kinds of vehicles on the roads and on the highways. It's very important that this is done. That should be a continuous thing. It's not a one-off, as long as this menace subsists. And a key thing that would have to be done in that regard as well is registration of commercial vehicles by the state, the Ministry of Transport, to ensure that only those people who are registered to do business are allowed to do those.
In recent weeks now, victims have shared their experiences of one-chance crimes with Cool Wazobia Info FM in Port Harcourt. They revealed that kidnappers demanded ransom from their families and loved ones and also stole their personal belongings, with some victims losing money from the bank account. Moving on now, the Eze Chimerugo, one of Eche, Eze Dr. Chike Promise, is commending Eche local government chairman Chima Boniface Njoko for his transformative leadership. The monarch highlights Njoko's swift actions to solve long-standing electricity problems, including the procurement and distribution of over 60 units of 500 kVA transformers, which improved power supply and boosted local businesses. Eze Promise also commended the grading and rehabilitation of internal and feeder roads, calling it a major relief for residents and a sign of genuine grassroots development. On traditional matters, the monarch praised Njoko's mediation in chieftaincy disputes across Ozuzo, Mba, and Okeki clans, saying his inclusive approach restored peace, unity, and respect for the traditional institutions. And now regarding security, as a promise noted that land grabbing, kidnapping, and other crimes are declining, reflecting increased safety and community trust under Njoko's administration. The monarch describes Njoko as a God-sent blessing for Eche, urging chiefs, opinion leaders, women, youth, and residents to continue supporting his leadership and development agenda. He also commended Njoko's role as ambassador and coordinator of the Renewed Hope chapter, praising his commitment to good governance and inclusive development, and encouraged continued support for the Renewed Hope agenda. As a promise concluded with prayers for Njoko's health, wisdom, strength, and success as he works for the growth and development of Eche local government area. Well, the chairman of Ikwere local government area, Charles Nwombodo, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to improving education and strengthening safety in schools across the local government. Speaking when members of the Solutions Social Initiative paid him a courtesy visit at his office in Ifechukwu, Nwombodo says his administration will continue to partner and support any group or organization with credible ideas aimed at developing the area. He also assures that head teachers will work closely with the group to achieve its objectives.
We are always open to support every organization. Same as you, coming to see us, we embrace you. Areas we need to support you, we support you. We have said it is save schools and save future. And the future of our children is paramount. If lifting from here is going to help, all we owe you to support. So, see your project as ours too. See it as an Igwe local government project too. Areas you want us to come in, don't hesitate to get to us. Then we can come to a round table and see the best we can get it done. Wanting this booklet to get to these children, especially the pupils and other students. We'll try and see how we can put our head together and make them available through you.
Earlier, the leader of the group, Ife Serial Eda, said the project is aimed at making schools safer. He adds that it has been approved by the State Ministry of Education. Eda noted that the group is partnering with the police and social welfare agencies to protect children in schools.
Everyone has role to play when it comes to protection of children and protection of education environment. And that is why we have come to officially introduce the project to you, sir, and to also inform you that during the implementation of the program, there are some things we'll be teaching these children. We have met with the Nigerian police to protect schools. We have also met with the National Human Rights Commission. We are partnering with them and the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. So that by the time we go from school to schools, when we meet cases, we'll give referrals and how schools can further engage with these state arms of government in taking care of children responsibly.
In business now, the chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Oritemewa Eyesan, is warning that inconsistent regulations across African countries are discouraging cross-border energy investment. Speaking at the Nigerian International Energy Summit in Abuja on Monday, Eyesan calls for a stronger African Petroleum Regulators Forum to align energy policies across the continent. She says Africa's main challenge is no longer lack of resources, but fragmented regulations that increase costs, delay projects, and scare investors.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
Former U.S. President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in the congressional investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this comes just days before a vote on whether to hold them in criminal contempt for previously refusing to appear before the House Oversight Committee. Bill Clinton knew Epstein but denies any knowledge of his crimes and says he cut off contact 20 years ago. The timing of their depositions is not yet clear, but it will mark the first time a former U.S. president testifies before Congress since 1983. The Clintons say they already provided sworn statement and dismissed the legal summons as a political ploy. In sports now, Atletico Madrid have signed Nigeria forward Ademola Lookman from Atlanta for £30.3 million. The 28-year-old has signed a contract with the Spanish club until June 2030. Lookman joined Atletico after spending 3 seasons at Atalanta, where he scored 55 goals and provided 27 assists. He helped the club win the 2024 Europa League with a hat-trick in the final against Bayer Leverkusen. Well, on the news this morning, you heard Wike's faction of PDP has fixed its national convention for March 28 and 29, 2026. We told you that ex-Buhari chief of staff has revealed that the former president's cabal knew its limits. You heard The stakeholders are deliberating on whether President Bola Tinubu will intervene again in the River State political crisis. And on the foreign scene, Bill and Hillary Clinton are set to testify in a congressional Epstein probe. The news was edited by Ifunanya Obeme Ndukwe. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.